Okay, now
1 minute, sir. Check it.
YouTube start in the
Check చేస్తుంది సార్ ఒక్కసారి. Yes, sir. Start అయింది.
okay. Okay, good evening, friends. All our student friends who are with me today in this master class, and also I invite all our friends who are on my request joining YouTube live. This is a master class on leadership coaching through communication and listening. As we have already seen in the earlier sessions, that leadership coaching is a great thing, that it is uh, uh, leading not by tags and designations, it is by creating a trust, because you are coaching and developing your individual subordinates in the given setting. So as such, we know we need to do something about this kind of coaching as such, leadership coaching model. So it is developing the individuals. And leadership is the ability to influence people. And influencing is through development, creating trust, and going ahead with open communications and empathic listening and all. Let's explore further. There are certain principles in communication, as you all know, that it's a 7 communication principles for coaching. Let's examine and let's explore these principles for detailed discussion. First one is the principle number one is clarity, meaning that the communication must be very concise and easy to understand. So you're not supposed to create any confusion. Put the facts very straight in a concise manner, not to unnecessarily elaborate to create some sort of confusion. So make it short and simple, concise, so that the other person can easily understand. For example, a coach explaining a complex strategy to a team using simple language and visuals. Because, as is said, is a complex strategy. It requires a clear explanation to the team of people. So make it concise, easy to understand, and with visuals and very simple language, it can be explained. So it means that you need to avoid jargon, a lot of complex words and all that non-understandable words and all. And you need to focus on actionable instructions. What should be done again? Okay, having said that, you also request and concentrate on the actionable instructions. What is that is expected by the subordinates? So clarity ensures that the leader's message is understood, and it's just not heard. It's to be understood. Principle number two: active listening. It goes without saying, that's a leader should need to fully concentrate, understand, and respond to what the other person is saying. For example, a manager like Satya Nadella actively listening to employees' feedback during a Microsoft team meeting is a very often repeated example, because use reflective statements to validate understanding. See, nobody knows whether you're clearly listening or not. So you need to validate understanding by again repeating the statements or reflective statements, as a matter of fact. So active listening builds trust and encourage open communication. Then only your subordinate thinks that he is the person who is to be trusted. So active listening is principle number two. Principle number three: empathy. That is walking into the shoes of the other person with whom you are interacting. understanding and sharing the feelings of others. Very, very important. How do you share and how do you share the feelings of others here? Unless you get into their own shoes, as such, in the sense that from the other's perspective, we need to understand every situation. Say, for example, Serena Williams' coach, I was talking to you earlier also, Patrick, adjusting his coaching approach during her challenging matches as such. I mean, the Patrick, the Williams coach, tried to understand from her perspective, her challenges, and tried his best to coach her. And the empathy means here acknowledging emotions before offering solutions, because there are certain mental excitements, excited states and excited feelings are there from the subordinate side. You need to acknowledge their emotions, excited states, before offering any solution as such. So empathy is a cornerstone for meaningful coaching relationships, as a matter of fact. So principle number 4, consistency. See, your actions must be very consistent. You talk, I mean, today something, tomorrow something. So that's kind of a inconsistent behavior, and inconsistent statements may mean something very problematic, and your reliability may be questioned, and that's a very bad leadership and bad coaching as such. So you need to maintain, I mean, all the leaders who act as coaches maintain a consistent tone and approach to build reliability. Because people, the subordinate should trust you now. That's it. So you need to build reliability. How can you build reliability? You need to maintain a consistent tone and approach. So, for example, I was talking to you earlier also, Starbucks barista training program ensures uniform communication styles to maintain brand values of their coffee shops. Very, very interesting that all employees are confronting with the uniform communication styles with all the executives in this barista training program. So it means that you should be totally consistent in your approach in making people feel that there is a need for to do this or that. So this kind of consistency in communication styles with tone, approach, and your behaviors count a lot. So stick to a coaching framework for predictable outcomes. So if you want to predict something, an outcome, something, please be consistent with the subordinates in explaining things in a consistent fashion. Consistency fosters trust and reduces ambiguity, because see, if you do not adopt this consistent style of functioning, you say now something, tomorrow something else. So there's a lot of ambiguity in the minds of the subordinates, what to do, what not to do, as a matter of fact. So that's a problem. So consistency fosters trust and reduces ambiguity, the principle number 4. And principle number 5 is providing feedback. See, providing constructive and actionable feedback regularly is a must. So, because if you are sincere enough in supporting your subordinates, give constructive feedback and actionable feedback regularly. Actionable feedback is very important, meaning that what can be the subordinates' actions further given the existing state of affairs. So, providing constructive feedback and actionable feedback regularly creates trust again. For example, Richard Branson giving specific advice to Virgin Group of employees during innovation projects. See, I have already referred earlier also. Richard Branson, the British magnate, business magnate of Virgin Group of Virgin Group of companies, visionaire, and he always encourages two-way system of communication and actionable feedback during innovation projects. Use feedback sandwich method: positive, constructive, positive. Sandwich is in between. For example, you understand what is bread sandwich: one slice, another slice, in between something. That's what we call sandwich. Feedback sandwich is all about give a positive feedback bring a constructive feedback, very actionable feedback, again close with positive feedback. So positive comment and constructive feedback, and then close with a positive comment as such. So this kind of effective feedback focuses on growth, not criticism. Mind it, it's a constructive feedback. It's very easy to give a destructive feedback by criticizing people. No, it's not necessary for us. So, what are the actionable feedbacks? Please take your subordinates together. That is coaching, leadership by coaching. Principle six, patience. Allow time for individuals to process information and respond. Please do not chase them. Once you give an action orientation, wait for the results. There may be some problems here and there with the subordinates. So you trust them. Please allow time for individuals to perform, for individuals to process information and respond. You have said something, you have circulated something, let them process the information, let them respond with some sort of action. You should have sufficient patience. Say, for example, a new manager helping employees adopt to a complex change initiatives without rushing them. For example, you are suggesting a change initiative. It's said to be complex. So when the change initiative itself is a worrisome situation for the subordinates, right? No change is, everybody will resist, So what happens here? The complex change initiative that is suggested, please do not rush the change processes one after other, and all that. So please try to adopt a patient attitude so that anything can be happening in a phased manner. Suggest them, support them as such, but do not chase them, and do not create any rush for whatever it is action plans. So encourage questions to gauge understanding. See, the best way to handle the subordinates is to encourage them. How do you encourage them for action orientation? Ask questions to gauge their understanding. Are they in a position to understand that things are not? If not, you can provide them necessary inputs and all. So encourage questions to gauge understanding so that it can go good. So patience is very vital for nurturing growth in your team. Minded, please do not chase them, but have some patience, nourish them for growth as such. And principle number 7, adaptability. Adjust your communication style based on the audience. See, where there are individuals, there are individual differences as such. People have their own different styles of learning. The learning cycles for all the people may not be the same. Understanding levels do differ and all that. Some people may be faster, some people may be relatively little slower. So can't you adjust and adapt your communication style based on your audience, based on your team members? The answer is very definitely yes. Say, for example, a sales manager tailoring their coaching style for juniors versus senior team members. That's what it means, actually. A sales manager tailoring their coaching styles, tutoring. See, junior employees and senior team members. Senior team members are ahead of certain things like so, and you can adopt a communication style to a senior member, and you can adopt another communication style to junior, because junior members are to be nourished more and more, but senior members already learned something, and you need not have to worry with those people as such. So you need to understand the learning cycles of your team members and adapt your communication styles accordingly. So that's what we mean by knowing your audience communication preferences and adapt to them. And adaptability ensures your message resonates with the diverse individuals. There are individuals with diverse interests and diverse understandings as such. So being adaptable to all resonates, that your message is very easily understood and others can take action on your words. Now, having said that, let's try to understand gathering good information with ears model. I think your syllabus indicates ears, EARS. Surprisingly, ear is a very important organ which helps us to listen. There's a difference between hearing and listening, and in between two ears there is mind. So hearing is with ears and listening is with mind, what we say. Let's try to understand how you can gather good information with this model called EARS, EARS, an acronym. What is this EARS model? E stands for exploration or explore. A stands for acknowledgement, that's called acknowledge. R stands for response, that's what we call respond. And S stands for summarization, what we call summarize. So E for explore, A acknowledge, or respond, and yes summarize. Please note that EARS, years, is a structured method to gather valuable insights during coaching conversations. Now, we have said, very important word, coaching conversations. It's a conversation between the leader and the subordinate. Leader is a coach. So it's a very well structured method. Let's see how it is applied: exploration, acknowledgement, response, and summarization. Let's see how to apply EARS model in coaching. Let's examine. First one, what we have said, E, exploration, explore. Ask open ended questions to know clearly whether they are going ahead, whether they are understanding things or not. For example, what challenges are you facing? Straight question, right? Open ended question. If it is a closed-ended question, you know what's the difference between open-ended question and closed-ended question? For example, if I ask, is this the challenge you face? There is only yes or no answers. So that's not right. So go for exploratory questions. Ask open-ended questions. Ask them, what are the challenges you face? Then they will come out one, two, three, four, five. That's called exploration. Okay. Having explored, what to do? A, next, A, acknowledge. Show you understand. Show that you understand the situation. See, you have asked a question, what challenges are you facing? Yes, you acknowledge them having, I mean, they say something. So no acknowledge. For example, yes, that sounds frustrating. Don't worry. That means when they challenge and he has explained, subordinate has explained something, then you respond. See this response. Yes, that sounds frustrating. Don't worry. That means that you understood clearly. That's acknowledging them. Acknowledging the question or acknowledging their statement is very important. Then is not simply acknowledging, respond. That means they have some concerns and you address their concerns. You address their concerns. That's called response. Not don't stop at acknowledgement. Response is very important. Responding is addressing their concerns straight away. For example, here is what we can try together, come on. See, response is that you are suggesting an action plan and asking them to cooperate. Come on, let's we can try together. Let's come on, let's come together. Yes, go ahead. So that's what it means. So that's called response. Your action orientation is suggested. Then of course is summarization. Yes stands for summary. Repeat key points. Having said that, so now you say you repeat quick sum up of what went on and what to be done now. Say, for example, the summarization can be like this. So we will implement this plan to resolve your problem. Okay. So that's what it means, summarization. So see the application of EARS model in coaching. Explore, acknowledge, respond, and summarize. This EARS model builds clarity and trust while ensuring all concerns are addressed. See, this is a very important model, and other person can understand. Oh, everything is answered, everything is addressed. Let us move ahead. So then, okay, when we said coaching conversations, when we said coaching conversations, coach should be leader coach should be an effective listener. What we have been talking about is effective listening. So let us try to elaborate certain habits of effective listeners. Check whether you become to effective listeners category or not. If you are effective listener, you can be a leader coach. Let's see. Habit one, eliminate distractions. Very, very important. When a person, a subordinate, comes to you with a, because you have invited him to explain the problem or whatever, then he comes and discusses with you. In this coaching conversation, please be very, very alert in eliminating distractions. How good are you in eliminating distractions? Number one is to maintain eye contact. So if you maintain eye contact with the person who is talking, yes, you can. There is a chance for you to listen very well. Avoid multitasking. For example, suppose you say somebody else is has come to you for a discussion or whatever it is. You allow him to talk. Okay, okay, go ahead, and you attend to your own email or whatever it is, or I mean, look at your mobile phone, or shuffle the papers and in your file and looking after some paper in the file. And this is called, this is a distraction. This is a distraction. Another person lose interest in what he wants to say or talk to you. So maintaining a contact and avoiding multitasking. Please do concentrate that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, or half an hour with whom you're interacting. Please do concentrate, avoid multitasking, maintain eye contact so that there can be some clarity of what the other person is telling you. That's the first fundamental of effective listeners, eliminating distractions. For example, a chief executive officer putting away their phone during one-to-one discussion. See, all distractions. You have to put the files down and down to what you call. You do not have to shut down the laptop, but you just keep it aside and put down your phones and other distractions aside. So being fully present demonstrates respect and commitment minded. See, you are respecting the other person coming in for you for discussion, right? And it's also gives a green signal that you're totally committed to help the individual. See, that's what we call coaching is all about. Trust building, all about. So being fully present demonstrate respect and commitment. So good habits of effective listeners are to be listed one, two, three. Habit number one is eliminating distractions. Habit number two, ask open-ended questions. We have already talked about it just now. Avoid yes/no questions to gather deeper insights. See, don't go with closed-ended questions. Open questions. You ask open questions. See, what motivates you at work? What is your problem? Don't say, is this your problem? Please say that, ask him to explain instead of you saying something. Always this is open-ended question. Foster meaningful conversations, mind it. See, you want him to explain, isn't it? So start with an open-ended question. Don't close the question. Difference, please note the difference. What is the problem? It's an exploratory answer you can expect. Or if you say, is this the problem? You have something in mind and say, is this the problem? He says either yes or no. That is not right. Because you want more and more. That's what conversation is all about. Conversation is two-way, isn't it? So open-ended questions foster very meaningful conversations as such. Habit number three, validate emotions. Mind it, when the problem comes, an executive comes to you, a subordinate comes to you with some sort of mental excitements, especially in a situation where the is very challenging and the subordinate wants your help or whatever it is, cooperation and help and all. So you need to show empathy for their feelings. That's what emotional intelligence is all about. Validate the emotions. See, employee get excited. You may, of course, ask them not to get excited. I am there to help you, please, and all that. So, see how the conversation may be from the leader side, leader coach side. Yes, I can see and fully understand how this would be stressful for you. See, when the problem comes and in the mind of the subordinate, and he presents his feelings and emotions and all that. See, the answer, yes, yes, I can see and fully understand and how this would be stressful for you. So that's what it means. You're acknowledging the feelings. show empathy from their perspective. So, this kind of validation helps individuals feel understood and valued. If you validate the emotion, don't cut it down. If you validate the emotion, yes, it helps individuals and they feel that they are understood by you and they are valued, right? That's what it means. Habit number three is validating emotions. Habit number four, summarize for clarity. See, don't get into fast conclusions. You mean to of course you may conclude it because you may be running short of time and because of so many reasons of your tough time diary and all, fine, but then paraphrase the key takeaways, because when you're heading for closure of the conversations, it's always better for us to summarize. Say for example, you're saying the timeline feels unrealistic due to these reasons, 1 2 3 4, isn't it? Ask. So this is called paraphrasing, so that you can get some clarity and you also provide some sort of a clarity also by summarizing this. So the summary or this kind of the closure of conversations most of the time prevents misunderstandings. Summarizing prevents misunderstandings. So let's examine again. So leadership coaching styles. There are certain important models that we need to discuss again. There are four key coaching styles. See which one do you prefer and which one you want to adopt. Let's see. One is directive. The name implies straight away. It implies, right? Offers clear instructions. See, you're totally directive. 1 2 3 4 5. These are the things you go and do this. This is called direction. Of course, you are in a leadership position. You have a very right to direct, but at the same time, if you are not conscious of the others, I mean subordinates' problems, team members' problems, then the problem comes. So that's what. One is directive. First style, coaching style is directive. Offer clear instruction. That, I mean, I'm not saying there is a positive or negative. One coaching style is without any ambiguity, clear 1 2 3 4 5 6 instructions, so that they can be some sort of clarity they can have. Second one is supportive. See, always giving instructions asks them to do is fine, but then there is a problem. For example, they require emotional support, they require professional support, they require some skill support, whatever it is. So focus on emotional and professional support to be given. That's called your supportive leadership. I'm sorry, supportive style, coaching style as such. Third one is empowering. See, you always nourish them fine, walk with them fine, but encourage autonomy. Let them do on their own. You should empower them at a given point of time, right? Give them instructions, provide emotional support, professional support, and all that, and empower them. See, make them full length persons to handle the problem by their own. So encourage autonomy and decision making. Let them decide. That's called empowerment. Give them all the necessary skills, all the necessary inputs as such. And four is a mixture. Either it can be directive, supportive, empowering, all together. Combines all approaches as needed given the context. So, friends, each style has its time and place depending upon the individual and the context. We are not saying that one is good, second is good, third is good, fourth is good, whatever. No, we are not ranking it, but there are different styles of coaching. So you can adopt according to the given context, according to the individual with whom you are interacting with, and you need to understand the time and place as such. For example, you're transacting a change process, urgent change process is to be initiated. So then you can't have participative discussion model or whatever it is. You have to give some direction so that the objective is to be achieved very quickly. The action is to be initiated very quickly as such. So like that, these are certain circumstances where you need to adopt different coaching styles as a leader. So now question yourself. There's a self-assessment question here. What kind of coach are you? Are you interested to prefer giving clear directives or enabling autonomy, empowering them? Or are you in a position to handle team challenges, move with them with participation or whatever it is we have already talked about, is a supportive and something like that? And what coaching methods feel most natural to you? Because it's question of how you and your subordinate gel together, right? And your personality traits also do something to do with your style of functioning. So understanding your natural coaching style is the first step to refining it. So it is a person to person approach, right? Deliberation, discussions, and all that. So there is nothing like the best coaching style, but depends upon how good are you, given the context, given the time, given the texture of the subordinates, climate, and all that when you are working with. Let me tell you some real world examples of leaders of some multinational global organizations. You might be knowing about Amazon's boss, Jeff Bezos. He used to providing clear operational guidelines. So he is interested in directions, clearly providing operational guidelines at every level. So that's his directive behavior as such. Second is supportive, as I've already told you. Serena Williams, tennis coach, Patrick, he used to give emotional support for Serena at every level. So that's the supportive model. Then empowering. A very good example I have been talking to you earlier. It's Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella fostering a culture of innovation, asking them, giving them necessary inputs and asking them to go for innovative ideas. And his coaching style is empowering them, giving them necessary things and allow them to think faster, think creative, think innovative. So Satya Nadella's fostering a culture of innovation at Microsoft is a very good example of empowering coaching style of a leader. Then, of course, is the hybrid altogether, either directive, supportive, plus empowering. I was talking to earlier also. Richard Branson, British business magnate of Virgin Group, he used to blend approaches based on the situation. He is sometimes directive, he is sometimes supportive, he is sometimes empowering as such. So, friends, great coaches adopt their style based on the needs of their teams, of the individuals. Mind it's the time and place and organization texture and the teams needs of the teams. So, great coaches always adopt their style based on the needs of their team, of the individuals. So, by conclusion, the final thought which I'm going to talk to you now, and the final thought here is you need to master communication, listening, and understanding your coaching style, which is very key to becoming an effective leader minded. You need to master communication. What is meant by communication? Communication process, I need not have to tell you much. There's a sender and a receiver. Receiver is your subordinate, and you are the sender. There's a purpose. There's a transference of meaning, an understanding, a conveyance of thought, whatever it is, right? And there must be, sender and receiver must be on a same plane. So you need to get the feedback from the receiver whether the communication what you have sent is received or not. So these are all it's a big process, scientific process, and there will be some sort of barriers. And the barriers may be physical barriers, or semantic barriers, or psychological barriers. Physical barriers are, you can understand. For example, when you and me are conversing together, there may be external noise creating. Noise is created. For example, fan is making a noise, or a door is not okay, and there's a lot of noise, physical noise, whatever, or something like any noise for that matter, physically recognizable noise, for example. That can be that this is called physical barrier. Or you and me are not audible, right, to each other. So we can be nearer to each other to talk to. Am I clear? These are all. I mean, I'm giving some hypothetical cases where physical barriers can be noticed and can be handled. Semantic barriers is science of meaning. So, for example, you are using a lot of abbreviations, coded words, and all that, and you encode, and it can be wrongly decoded by the other person. Here comes the semantic barrier. That means science of meaning. Semantics is all about science of meaning. So, whenever you use abbreviations or coded words or whatever it is, please understand that there's a problem of encoding and the problem of decoding. Problem of encoding from the sender side and problem of decoding from the receiver side. So you need to master all the communications. Of course, the psychological barriers are very many. That's a big problem. Psychological barrier is all about maybe a fair complex, or you're in anger mode and other person is not in a position to receive you or whatever. So there are a lot of psychological barriers that may work in between sender and the receiver. So those must be handled appropriately. For example, you are in a very tense situation as a manager and you're not free to communicate with the other person. So your psychological state is so what you call stressful, so that you cannot entertain any free conversation with the subordinate. So there are certain answers that we need to provide for yourself so that there can be smooth communication which can go on. So you can filter out the psychological barriers, if any. Then of course is listening. Listening, I have already told you. Hearing is with ears and listening is with mind. Careful listening helps two things. One, you can be very clearly understanding what the other person is saying. Number two, and you're giving lot of support and empathy. Show empathy towards that other person who can come out in true statements clearly. So understanding your coaching style is very clear, is a very important key becoming an effective leader. So, friends, why waiting? Reflect on these principles, what we have been discussing together here, and start applying them to your leadership journey today. By focusing on these type of practices, you will unlock the potential of those who you lead while growing as a leader yourself. That's why the discussion is all about what is coaching, leader coaching. So it is something leader coaching is leader plus as such. You need to support your subordinates in all possible ways so that you can entertain, or you can what you call can create some sort of trust support with subordinates as such. With this we close, and the things are open for you for discussion again. This is a very short thing that I've just given you.